Huh?
It's not the hour, it's the company.
Ah, I hear you.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, we are back. And we've got a little bit of time here, so let's get into claims.
I'll move to approve claims.
Second?
A motion and second to approve claims. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. Minutes. I have one comment on minutes. The vote on 5311, the DART. There was a no vote there.
Yeah, that's right. I think you did, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't catch that, though. Move to approve other than Bill's correction.
I will second for approval as corrected.
A motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay. Travel. Any problems with travel? I didn't see any.
Pretty straightforward, just extension and mics. I'd move to approve.
Second.
A motion second to approve travel. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Travel is approved. Okay. Council Commissioner meeting topics.
And if there's anything you guys needed for August 9th meeting. It's gonna be a full meeting, so if not.
Well, there is one thing that I want to bring up, and you decide whether you want to talk to the council or not about it, and we haven't gotten to it yet, but on a bot, I went through that entire presentation by Barnes and Thornburg. I also,
A long sucker.
Indiana Code 5-23 is the enabling one, but -5 is selection of a contractor. And that's all I had given a lot of attention to, was that, on the contractor, and what I based the RFP that I sent to each of you. In the material, there were a couple of things that were in the seminar materials from Barnes and Thornburg that were not in this 5-23-5. And one of them, the reason I'm bringing it up now instead of waiting until you get to me on this part, is if the bot agreement is greater than 5 years, it needs to be approved by the fiscal body. That was not in the other stuff. I mean, it's good practice if you're talking about that. But I just wanted you to know going in. So is that something you want to talk to the council or wait? And that's totally up to you.
What do you think, guys?
That's probably, doesn't make a difference. We can fill them in when we take the RFP used to them.
I totally agree. When you
or-
show them the RFPQ, you can say, you know, this is part of it because it's part of the legislation.
They're,
And I'm gonna verify that it's in one of those chapters of,
yeah, I am certain that they are expecting to approve it anyway,
you're right,
so,
you're right. But it wasn't in the first
yeah,
set of documents I did
Yeah.
because it wasn't in the one from Carroll County
Yeah.
that we got sent to us from Ben and it wasn't, or Brian Grog.
yeah.
And it wasn't in the one that FCI did.
I can't imagine we would do a bot for less than 5 years or less anyway.
Well, and I've done it two ways. Once with the new stuff in it, and I'll send that to each of you after today in an email.
Anything else on council commissioner reading topics? I don't think I've got anything, actually.
I'll just leave a little time for miscellaneous in case something comes up between.
What should we tell them on our ventures with foresight on this deal as far as getting where we're at, moving on with the highway department as far as the approval for the site? And
Todd's Bauer's gonna be on that Zoom.
he is gonna be on the
meeting in
Zoom?
morning, yeah.
Okay,
Or
all
the
right.
Teams meeting in the morning.
Okay, good.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah, I got it, I saw him.
okay. 'Cause I know that was kind of a holdup for
I
us
was
there.
concerned about that.
I was
yeah,
worried that we were gonna have to
yeah.
hire a new guy.
Yeah.
I was,
That would be very bad.
yeah, you know, he had to change horses in the middle of that stream.
Yeah, okay. That, my only concern is
I was
tell them
glad-
our progress.
Yeah, I was glad to see,
Did I read correctly too, the water line, or Waterloo can't do it, has to be contracted out? So we'd have to figure out what that cost is. And
Yeah, and we may have to go with the other plan, is use the well,
use the wells.
install a tank. I don't know how much tank they need. I think it has to be an underground tank. I mean, those are poly, they're not terrible expensive, I don't believe.
Is water the only viable fire suppression for commercial buildings? You
There
can't do
was
it.
something about the liquids, it had to be water or something, but you don't have water in yours.
We don't have any.
You don't have any, well.
We're
you're-
grandfathered.
yeah, well, you're not even big enough to have it.
We might not even be big enough and
You
we're
don't have enough- you don't have
grandfathered.
enough
I know
square
Ben
footage.
Davis, when they bought Owens had a fire suppression system in. They didn't do anything with it. They thought, well, you don't need this. Come to find out,
They do.
once it's installed and it's part of the operating occupancy permit,
has to be
has to be maintained. It costs them tens of thousands. Here nor there, I just wonder, is there a dry system that would meet, like baking soda, and I know you can't use Halon anymore, it causes problems,
Well,
but
but those Ansel systems, which that would be,
I,
are considerably more
Are they?
expensive to charge and maintain than a wet system.
oh, I'm sure, I just wonder the
Yeah.
initial cost,
Yeah.
if, you
Well,
know.
I think that question was asked though of Tony, and he said, no, you can't, it's gotta be water.
Gotta be water?
I don't guarantee that.
Okay, he might
That
be
seems to
right.
come to
I,
mind.
I don't know anything about this stuff, guys. I'm just trying to think of simpler ways, because out there at the Central Communications, part of it's chemical and part of it's water. And it's probably due to
Well,
the
yeah,
equipment.
chemical you would use because of the
Yeah.
electronic equipment,
Yeah.
computer equipment, yeah.
So, and those are occupied areas, but maybe with fuel, it's different. Maybe garages have to have water. Seems to me like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I got a feeling, I just got a feeling getting water out there is gonna be expensive, that we may have to go with a tank and pump.
Yeah.
And of course, the generator to run that.
Yeah.
I think Ace has a sale on garden hose.
All right, guard hose. Get us some. We need a few foot. Okay.
Yeah, here's a really off-the-wall thought. We got 5 minutes before Ben comes in. So we're gonna put a new fueling station out there for diesel.
Yeah,
We got a lot a lot of county vehicles that run on gas.
Propane. Oh, gasoline, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
gasoline,
sorry, I thought you were
yeah.
talking about
No,
the,
we have all the sheriff's department cars and, you know, a lot of those that run on gas. And right now, they're buying fuel at Classes with a card and getting maybe 3 cents off a gallon. I have no idea what the fuel consumption is in terms of gallons annually. But if we're putting a brand new fuel system in, maybe it would be cost effective to put in a gasoline tank, use a card system, which would charge it to the vehicle, and bid gasoline as well.
the thought. It's expensive to install the farm initially, but
I
it's.
don't know what the long-term, or what the
What kind
payback
of a break we
would
can
be.
get.
But yeah, I just, was one of those 3 o'clock in the morning things.
I like the idea now, is some of the efficiency wasted though if they have to drive to Waterloo to fill up is the only thing.
There's that.
You know, if you, especially if it's, now if it's Waterloo vehicles, that's a whole different, if they're stationed there, but like sheriff department cars would have to go all the way to Waterloo and back, call it 6 miles. 6 miles, those vehicles get 15 miles, I mean,
Health
I don't know what.
but
the-
I agree with you, I like
I
that,
just-
I like the thought process.
Health department,
Yeah.
building inspector,
Surveyor,
surveyor.
I like the idea, I just wonder though if that location just wouldn't suffice.
yeah, I don't know.
And I'd assume you'd have to do probably a pretty good tank to get tanker loads to get the best.
Yeah, you have to take a
discount.
full load, an
Yeah.
8,000 gallon load.
Yeah.
But if you have a 10,000 gallon tank, that's not a problem, 10 or a 12.
But there again, that's a big tank.
Oh my, I'll bet you're looking at a couple $100,000 to put one in. And that, I like the idea of the cost savings long term.
You'd have to have more numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a good thought though.
altogether.
I think it's good discussion.
Yeah.
One of
Not a
those
bad idea.
3 o'clock in the morning things that,
Yeah,
Yeah. Run that by Elevitus.
Were you guys able to read the agreement I had sent you about for my office to do?
yeah, I think it's a bunch of crap.
we don't, we
Listen
don't,
here, sign it.
we don't even like those people.
I know, we're awful, but
So tell me what this is. This is so the documents can be pre-filled for like
what it is
exemption and
right
stuff?
now, like mortgage, homestead, all of those, people have to come in, or they'll do, like, title companies will do mortgage exemptions for people and then send like stacks of
Yeah.
them in. So this is actually, it can be done online. So like the title companies can do it online right then, and everything can get submitted to us that way and then it will be kept electronically, where right now we have like 50
Okay.
million 3-ring binders full
50
of-
million, 3-ring, man, you got
Probably.
a lot of 3-ring.
Probably.
They're all in the basement.
On the big-
They're all in my office.
So
no, we
this-
have a ton. So it's going to save everything: paper, space, time. People won't have to come into us. They'll be able to do it
Yeah.
outside of the courthouse, and even those that want to come in, because some people will not like to do it online, and even those that will come in, we can go here. We will go right to this portal and input it, and they'll be able to sign on their little signature pad, and it just goes in. We won't have to input it like multiple times.
That's fine. I like the idea. How do we get the word out, not to change the subject a little, but it's on the same, you don't know how many people I've talked to that says, yeah, I'd love to pay off my house, but I don't want to lose my mortgage exemption, my homestead. I said, dude, your mortgage exemption's worth $30 a year. That's all it's worth. It's $3,000, and if you're at the 1% cap, that's $30. Your homestead exemption could be worth $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 if it's your primary. So many people, I've talked to a bunch of people that have kept a mortgage on their house because they think they'd lose their homestead too. I almost assume they should get rid of that stupid mortgage exemption because it
They
gives
are.
you no benefit anyway.
They are.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then it'll be just homestead.
It changed. Yeah,
Okay.
it changed. The mortgage exemption is going away, and we'll collect until December of this year for pay 23. But then going forward, the homestead instead of the initial being 45,000, it's 48,000, and then
Oh,
your
they are
supplemental.
upping it.
So they're
Okay.
just throwing it into, so again,
they-
people think they lost it, but
No, they actually,
They
it's good. There's
aren't.
just one they fill out and they don't have to worry
Yes.
whether they have a mortgage or not.
Yes.
Because I never understood why we, yeah, anyway.
the initial
Okay.
will go up to 48,000.
Well, I'd make a motion, we approve the contract that the auditor desires to have signed.
Whatever Susan wants is okay with me.
That is not my motion, please.
I was gonna say, don't say that.
Is that why all the employees like you in the survey?
Put Mike Watson's name in the paper for that, not Todd
Do not
Sanderson.
put that in the paper.
I will second Todd's motion.
A motion and a second.
I've-
Are there any additional comments? I
Forgot for a
almost
minute,
hate to ask.
I thought I was talking to one of my grandkids, I'm sorry.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same, motion carries.
Hey, if you make the same motion, I can just pack up and head out. Save some time.
Before Ben starts, the equipment, the farm equipment that damaged County Road 40, yada, 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 that $9,500. Had you guys decided whether Ben was to pay for it from his funds or if you guys are paying for it from your funds? Two reasons. One, so I can fill the claim out correctly, and two, when the check comes, I can put it in to wherever we're paying it from.
I honestly don't know.
I don't think it was discussed, actually.
No.
Okay.
Do you have a recommendation from your standpoint?
It's really not gonna really matter because
Didn't think so.
there's, yeah.
Don't matter to me.
Ben, do you care?
I'm just looking to see if I had a note of it, if any.
I looked back at the minutes and it's not in any of the minutes. I didn't see any information.
Yeah, just take it out of highway somewhere. Put it back in when you get the money.
Okay.
I wouldn't say.
That's just fine. I'll be fine with that.
That would make sense, I would think.
All right, that's all I needed.
It will probably, Susan, will be restricted account. It's 1173, 32,360.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. What you got, Ben?
A little bit of everything today. Got one thing here, I'm working on the community crossings matching grant for this year. We've got a commitment letter for Bill to sign. But in that motion, I'd like you guys to allow Bill to sign, sign this. I'm gonna update this probably tomorrow. I've got a quote coming in for some road fabric that we're gonna put underneath of an area that I wanna try. It's, we got a peat area that we're gonna go over, a small area, but there's some road fabric that we can put underneath of that asphalt that helps with the deflective cracking and moving. That don't really do it much for stabilization, but it helps. And I think this would be a good candidate to try that material and then to let the state pay 75% of it. So, but right now, without that, I got a match of $372,791.48 for the next round of 2022-2 community crossings. I'm looking at doing 35 from, well, I got it broke down into 6 projects, mostly due to incorporated city limits. So I can't go through the whole project and then just make the exceptions. I got to do each one individually. So we're going to do State Road, or excuse me, County Road 35 from State Road 8 to Duplex Drive. That's where city takes over. Then we're going to go just north of Morningstar to Waterloo city limits. And then we're going to go from Metcalf Ditch on 35 to Auburn Drive.
Okay.
So because Auburn goes down just past the fire station, down to Metcalf Ditch. And And then we're gonna do County Road 52 between 35 and 427. And then we're gonna do the 2 portions of ours on County Road 29, from Auburn Drive to 52. But we got a small portion north of the tracks and a small portion south of the tracks. I talked to Auburn. Auburn's on board with doing their segments out of local funds next year. So, and I got a commitment letter, you want to call it, or to put with my application for help beef that up a little bit. So that's what I have that we're going to submit on. If you guys are okay with Bill signing this one and then possibly updating one here in the next day or so, that would be great.
And what is that, the commitment letter?
Yes, for the next round of community crossings matching grant.
Well, I would move that we approve the application for the CCMG grant and president to sign.
Second.
And motion and a second. Are there any additional comments? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same.
And then you're
Motion
okay
carries.
with him signing an updated one, if I got to change them numbers a little bit? Okay.
Yep.
I want to try to get that submitted as soon as possible. It's due by the end of the month. But if I get it in early enough, if there's anything that they don't like, they send it back to you. And I don't anticipate anything, but within DOT, they make changes periodically and don't really inform you about it until you send it in. So
So you'll get me the one that you
if that
update?
changes, yes, I will send it to you.
Okay.
But right now, that's the one.
Okay.
And then I've got a dedication of Lenora Lane Bridge to DeKalb County from the city of Auburn. They did this last July 28th at their Board of Works meeting, dedicated that bridge to the county. They submitted us a letter to sign accepting the bridge. It's very vague, it's very short, with a description of the bridge. I did send this off to Jim last week. He was okay with this. If you guys are all right with it, the bridge was built to our specifications. I have the as-built for the bridge. We've inspected the bridge. Our USI has inspected it and is okay with everything. Once this is accepted by the county, R.L. McCoy will get us a 3-year maintenance bond. They did not want to get us the maintenance bond until it was accepted. So, which is fine. Like I said, the bridge is a nice bridge, so I don't have any issues with it at all. That will go in our bridge inventory and be part of our annual bridge inspections and our maintenance going forward. So I have these here with, for the 3 to sign as of this day. I'll give you guys, you can kind of glance over the verbiage, it's pretty short.
When's the soonest time they will start inspecting that bridge? Or will it get inspected on a regular basis like the rest of them, or is there a time lapse in there
That one was inspected by us already.
already?
Yes.
Going forward, I mean, what would be
It
the
will be,
next
that
one?
one's on a 2-year rotation, every 2 years.
Every 2 years?
Every 24 months. So that one will actually be inspected again this fall, because our annual's up, it'll be this October.
Oh, okay.
And then any that's on a 12-month cycle will be every year in October. We've got 2
What
bridges,
determines 2 years versus 1 year, Ben?
the inspection, if there's anything wrong with the bridge, any issues with it.
So then it goes on
Bridge
1
nine's
year?
on, Bridge 9's on a 12-month.
Okay.
So this should,
Actually good if on 2 years,
Right.
because McCoy will still have the maintenance bond in effect.
And if we suspect anything, we can always request inspection at any time. So
Right.
if we have any suspicions, we can have them inspect that before that maintenance bond expires.
okay.
So is somebody gonna motion this?
I'll move that we accept the Lenore Lane Bridge from City of Auburn.
Second.
A motion and second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Then on that one, you'll have to put the date on that, Susan, and I gotta send that back to Auburn, and we'll keep a copy here. A couple months ago, I asked you guys to move forward with Bridge 132 and Bridge 57 for engineering work. I've gotten both of those proposals here. One's from USI for Bridge 132 replacement. It's on County Line Road over Metcalf Ditch. So that is on 72 east of 35. Met with USI out there. This proposal is a little bit different. They give us a not to exceed amount of 81,000, which is what we have budgeted. The interesting thing with this one is it's going to be due to the flow and the drainage coming into it. It's very, very possible we'll be able to eliminate that bridge structure. And that's part of this proposal, and then do a small structure. So if that is possible, that would be a plus for us to get rid of the bridge, because the maintenance is a lot less. So this proposal kind of covers it to whatever way we got to go. So if we don't have to, I kind of see it coming in a little bit less. But they wrote these up under our on-call agreements, but I wanted to run it past you guys before I signed and proceeded. So that is the one for Bridge 132. The other one I got from United is on Bridge number 57 over on County Road 40 over Metcalf Ditch. That one's going to be a rehabilitation project. So that's going to be a new deck and some underground work. They're going to prepare the right of entries and help with the bid docks. That one is a not to exceed price of $49,800, which is also in the budget. So these are both submitted to us as a not to exceed under our annual on-call basis. But before I signed these and moved on, I wanted to see if you guys had any questions or concerns.
What are those called?
Engineering services for Bridge 132 and Bridge 57. One's with, Bridge 57 is with United, Bridge 132 is with USI.
That 132, if it's not going to be replaced, what's the engineer on that?
It's going to depend on how much work goes into it. It's all broke down by an hourly basis. That's why we did it on the on-call.
So it could be less.
I'm suspecting it will be less.
It'd be less.
Because this is a not to an exceed amount.
Right, right.
So how much less, I don't know. It just depends on what all goes into it. I don't know what kind of submittal. I've never been through possibly eliminating the bridge structure. I don't know what's entailed with that. The USI has always done us a good job. So I suspect they would be fair with us.
Okay.
I'll keep tabs on them.
All right. You okay with that? Consensus only? Is that all you need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. We're good.
And then we have the ordinance for boring under county roadways.
Yeah.
I did look through that this morning. I believe I read the latest updated version, then Susan, I think, was going to update that one. Was that the correct one? I was reading.
No.
Private lines. Gas lines.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was my question, so it wasn't in there at all?
I did not have it in there at all. I thought somebody told me not to do gas lines because they were more volatile, and I talked to Bill about that, and then he talked to the rest of you and decided it should go in there, that people could have private natural gas lines. And so it wasn't in there.
I don't think that's
don't
what he
think-
meant. Yeah, I have not added anything into it. For one, I couldn't find anything to change to private gas lines. And I talked to Bill about it this morning, and I don't think that's what.
What I saw added was for like telecommunications and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'd have to allow public gas lines.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, public utilities.
Yeah,
Right.
public
But as far as
utility gas
private-
lines, but not private
But not
gas lines.
private, yeah.
Private, last I remember, we wasn't going to allow private
Right,
to be
right.
in the road right away.
Which we shouldn't have private in the road right away. It's just gonna add a horrible problem for us, isn't it?
Well, and that's always LP, and they can put an LP tank on the other side of the road.
Right.
There's no point in running LP
Un-
gas line
Unless you're
across
running it through your business and you want to hook your house up to
Yeah.
your business gas.
And that's not from the house over, that's from the
Hey, I'm
dryer,
not-
the gas over to the
Then
house.
the
not
same way
calling
with
them out,
natural,
I'm
the
just
same
saying.
way with natural gas, if there's a natural, if you got it to your home and then there's a main there, then they need to run it off of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I wanted to
Now,
make sure we was covered on.
how do we address, though, the difference between that and like your solar, for instance, that sits on your barn across the street? If I have an LP gas sitting by my barn and I want to run my house off of it, how's that different than the solar line going from your, you know what I'm saying? Both are private.
Gas is another, I don't know, and that depends on you guys. In my mind, gas is more dangerous if you hit it.
You ever been electrocuted?
Nope. Well, I'll take that back. I have been.
I used to do it for fun, but now I don't.
No, but that, yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't answer that, other than the fact that I just stated, if you want gas on the other side of the road, you put it in our tank.
Yeah, I agree with
That's an obvious
that.
thing.
But what about natural gas? Let's say you have a meter there and you want to put a drop line to your house.
That's public utility.
Yeah.
That would be
Public
included.
utility then.
That's-
Gas company will do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm not taking either side. I'm just looking at it saying, hey, if you're allowed to bore under the road
If
for,
they're gonna run gas, it's gotta be in a conduit. And I don't know, do they put gas in conduit?
they don't even put it in conduit. They just bury it.
what I
That
thought.
flexible line's just buried. I've
You know, that's
never,
always been my concern with electric or gas in the road right away, private, because it don't get located.
no.
Yeah, that solar it's in conduit.
Oh, I know it is, has to be, but gas don't have to be.
No.
You ever seen that? It's just plastic line. Matter of
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
when they get a leak, they just take a pair of, what do you call them? The, pliers that lock, vice grips. They just vice grip it shut and while they work on the repair, it's an amazing thing to watch. So,
So what do you guys think? Include that also,
include,
the gas, private gas?
Yes.
well, there's something to discuss there. We already have one that we know of that's sitting in a right of way that sitting a little too close to the road too,
It
right?
was
Ben?
never approved.
And never approved,
That I
so. Do we ignore the ones that have already been done and don't ask, don't tell policy, you know, per se, and, or do we enforce, or are we gonna start enforcing now, say, hey, you gotta move that? You know, if we're gonna do this ordinance, I think we gotta enforce stuff that's illegally in the right of way. Or allow them to make it right by including it, saying, and set a standard for it. Gotta be buried 3 foot, 4
Should
foot,
you do
whatever.
the same thing with natural gas and with electricity?
I'm talking propane.
Yeah, I don't know that
Oh.
I don't know that we'd have any instances where we'd have private natural gas.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
That would all be,
That'll be
that would
public.
all be on NIPSCO.
I wouldn't have it.
So we would, yeah, and I'm just
Yeah.
asking to make sure I get it right. So what I would do, I don't have gas in this right now. Do I eliminate electricity?
No,
No,
Okay,
No, because a private entity can generate their own, and they might need to bore under. With that said, you know, if I have a 1,000 or 2,000 gallon LP tank, I might not want to buy a 500 gallon tank for the other side if all I gotta do is drop a line and get one fill. I don't have a problem with it as long as it's set to a standard and marked properly. But Ben might have a, you know, you're gonna see more electrical installations under the road. I guarantee you that's coming.
It's concerning.
And so we gotta come up with a standard that's good. If we have a standard that's good, I don't care if it's gas or electricity at that point. It doesn't matter to me. If it's buried deep enough and marked good enough, to me, that should be the standard. Because to me, there's no difference between electricity and gas.
what's your thoughts, Ben?
I'm nervous all of it, guys. You know, that's why we've kind of shied from it in the past, just to protect us and everyone in the road right of ways. You know, because there is solutions for it, others overhead and things. But I also understand the need, so.
Well, and what I'm talking about in the road right away, Ben, the one we're talking about, the gas problem, is there's actually valves sticking up in your.
Well, it's not sticking up, but it's very low below grade.
That's what I'm saying, and there's, whereas if it was 4 foot deep, there's a standard set, and it's marked properly, unless we're doing major construction of the road, like
That's further than a foot off the edge of the road.
Yeah, and it has to be,
But there again, that was put in who knows when, and
but we could get them to move it this way. Say, here's the standard, this is illegal, move it.
well, I think we could have them move it either way. 'cause
Well,
I
we
mean,
could, but,
It just,
if you're gonna allow him to still do it, even if he buries it, someone else can say, well, he
And
buried
it should be signage on that
Yeah.
line
Yeah,
also.
there needs to be markers for it too.
you know, and Chris was gonna make them put that in GIS. If people follow suit, you know, it's probably would be fine, you know, but there's gonna be instances where who's gonna maintain that, who's gonna keep an eye out that these things are being maintained and staying there.
Well, that's it. That enforcement's always the issue, because you don't have time to go driving around looking for all these
And I'm
boring
afraid-
projects.
You know, the electric and the gas, we're gonna see a lot of it once it's allowed, because there's a lot of places where there's a home on one side and a barn on the
Yeah.
other side. They don't wanna drop a electric service, you know, so this might become fairly common.
Well, my point is, like Ben said, it's getting more and more common as more people do electric, more people might drop gas too. You might want to make it official now and set a standard versus just turning a blind eye to like the dangerous conditions we already have. I think we should include LP in there and set a standard to depth and how far off the road any apparatus can be, you know,
And enforce
enforce it
existing.
big time. I mean, say, hey, any of you that are illegal, now's your time to do it because it's $1,000 fine if we, or
If
whatever
you
it
do
might
that,
be.
I think you ought, if
Whatever
you
it
do
might
that,
be.
I think you ought to put verbiage in there that anything that is found within the right of way that's current needs to be updated to the standard.
To the standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
It cleans up our current problems we have too.
Oh,
Because as we come across, you never know what you're gonna run into,
Yeah.
what you find.
The trick is to make sure it's at 5 feet or better, I think. you
Yeah.
know.
So you
Most
want the
generally-
same standard you had for everything else on LP gas?
Yeah, I
And
think
no
so.
natural gas, just LP gas?
I would think so because natural gas is a public utility. That's
Yeah,
handled.
natural gas does not need to be included in any way.
But electricity is a common utility, and we're including that in this.
Well, I mean, it's not gonna hurt to include natural gas.
Yeah, it wouldn't
but
hurt.
I can't imagine it's gonna come up.
Someone
but-
might drop a private natural gas line. Here's why. They might have a meter at their barn or at their house, but not at their barn across the street, and it's easier just to drop a line there than get another meter. Is it the right thing to do? Probably not, but knowing that natural gas is $40 a month whether you use it or not for the meter charge, a lot of people would say, you know what?
Well,
I
you
just
say
want one
no.
meter. So I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so
Put them both in.
So we'll bring it back for next week.
LP gas
And natural.
And natural.
and natural gas?
Yeah, natural gas, LP gas, electric. Let's get it all. Nuclear power. I'm all
Yeah.
for it.
You write that one.
We ought to put that in there just for the hell of it.
You're gonna be in charge of regulating.
Nitroglycerine. Let's go for it all.
All right, LP gas and natural gas, I'll send it out before the end of the week for you to review
Okay.
before we come in.
And I think we need to set is there a depth that we need to set this stuff needs to be buried? Is
Yes,
it 4 foot?
5.
5 foot?
5 foot below, 3 feet above, and it had to
No,
be.
no, no, no. That's a sign.
Depth of the,
You're on the depth of the gas, or the line, the bore.
Okay,
How deep
no
we're
3
burying
feet
stuff.
above.
what's that?
No 3 feet above.
yeah, I don't want a gas line 3 foot above the road.
Okay,
I'd say minimum 48 inches, minimum.
Is it in there? I don't
We
remember
don't
seeing
have
it.
a spec as far as Barry, I don't think.
So they're wanting in there how far down they
Ben,
have
my
to
Amish
go.
friends buried their power 14 foot, so you'd never find it.
They
just
done it
so you
less than
know,
that.
so.
They run their electric fence across the road. We pulled up, scraping our truck.
Let's go 60 inches on the berry.
Okay, I'm good with that.
60
That's plenty of depth.
60.
60 inches, 5 foot.
below ground level,
Yeah.
and still below ground. Oh, come on. It was a big one. Big thing I had to ask.
I think, Jim, with that, for any open cut, how can we word that? For any open cut utility, they will need to follow the standard for the right-of-way permit cut. Because that
Oh,
has
that's
all
what I was gonna ask. Before I had it 10 feet off of the road surface. Okay, you and I talked about that.
The backside of the right of way. Right?
it would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, backside of the right of way.
10 foot from the backside of the right of way?
No,
Oh,
Backside of the right of
backside
way.
of the right of way itself.
oh, the backside of the right of way.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That way, if they're mowing, if they want to
Yeah,
get,
they don't hit anything. Why have something protrude up right, yeah, right in
And
the middle?
The only thing I was just sitting here thinking, looking at this, is don't specify. I don't want someone wanting to come in here and run parallel to our road right away. So that if they're down the road a ways, then to their next property, I don't want them to come out the road right away, then run
oh,
200 feet north
Down
or
the
south
road,
and then
right.
back in their other property. This is only gonna be across.
Across the road.
Across the road?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
across the
Agreed.
road.
In a straight line across the road.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I ask a question on the fees? I saw 500 for cut across and 200 for a bore. Is that because we repair the cross-cut damage?
No, that's why I want them to specify to our road right-of-way cut permit. They're gonna pay for the damage and put the materials back in per our specifications.
And who's gonna put the material back in? Us and bill them, or they?
They're supposed to do it.
How do you know they'll do it to our spec?
It's supposed to be inspected.
Okay, all right.
That's
So,
why-
so then that's why it's more money, because there's actually damage to the road has to be,
It could create a maintenance issue,
okay, all right. I just wanted to clarify that.
right? Because they're on, I mean, you're always gonna have a crack on each side of the road, or
Yeah.
if it's,
Oh, yeah,
it's also potential settling over time.
I agree.
Asphalt especially is,
Sure. That makes sense. But they don't, they repair it on top of that. We don't repair it, they repair.
And per our right-of-way cut permit, they're responsible for that cut for 4 weeks,
Okay,
for maintaining it, for any settling or holes.
okay. I like it. I like that fee and that higher fee for the cut, because that makes sense. So,
okay, okay. We good on that? We got everything covered?
I think we're good.
One last
Hope
time.
so.
This is it.
I've got notes on it all, but I'll be calling Ben on the backside of the right of way to make sure I got it right.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm good with it.
good.
Look at it
Mike, you
completed
good?
next week.
I am good.
Okay.
And then I got a quote here that I got back, when did I get this? September of 21. I had not ordered them signed yet. So since we're getting closer, I was waiting just in case anything changed. Looks like from my prior email, she quoted us an 18 by 24 inch sign. And then you guys thought that might be a little bit big. So I got, they quoted me an 18 by 24 or 24 by 30. And then she can go down to a 12 by 18 sign.
Now, are these the signs for the private utilities?
Yep.
Can't we just do like a big pole marker, like a yellow pole marker or something like the gas company does?
The thing with that, we was concerned about them getting mowed off or broke off. So we, and in this ordinance, we require a, what is it, 4-inch ductile pipe up
Oh.
with it strapped to it.
Okay,
That way, if they hit it with one of their tractors or something, this,
might just bend it instead of breaking it.
it probably do damage to your tractor more so than break it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we could, but they're a little more susceptible to
That's fine. I
damage.
was just trying to keep a uniform look, but if that,
Easier to install, yeah, they would be. I mean, and we can order the fiberglass post with the marker on it. But
I'll go with whatever you're thinking. I'm
we
just,
used to do that in the road right of ways, and then we'd run a tracer wire with the utility, then wrap it up through the,
that's what I'd
Marker
really
sign.
love to see. I'd love to see a tracer wire put on all this stuff to where you could go out and go dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, you know, and
yeah, so if they run plastic, you won't trace it unless
Yeah.
there's a tracer wire with it. Your electricity, you'll be able to conduct.
well, that's true. You'd find that
But your
anyway.
gas, you won't if they run it in plastic.
Yeah, because they run that on gas lines. They wrap it with the wire all the way there.
The gas company will actually run a tracer wire with
Yeah.
theirs.
I've seen that. That's how they locate then.
But I just wanted to see what you guys wanted for them sign size, if you had a preference really at all. Now
I
this,
think
I'm
the
sure this changed,
Smaller, better.
but the smaller ones, the 12 by 18 was 1763 each, which it's gonna be more than that, I'm sure. This was a year ago, this was quoted.
Yeah.
And then, 18 by 24 was 3518. But 18 by 34, it's
Pretty good size.
pretty decent size.
I don't think it needs to be that
12
big.
by
12 by 18 is about the same size as your no parking sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the 12 by 18.
because it's just to identify, you're not trying to give people directions driving down the road, and I'd like to keep the burden cost down to the people that have to install them as much as possible, and still be effective, which I think. it
They're probably
is.
gonna be just over 20 bucks now, I'm guessing, a
12
sign.
by 18.
That's
20
reasonable, and they have to buy two, right? One on each
Right,
side,
right side, and a post.
and a post, yeah.
Is that going to be included in the permit fee? I think we
The
talked
permit
about.
said price or sign was additional.
Additional,
Additional.
it's additional to the, yeah.
Okay. We're all good with that?
Yeah, because it says plus the cost of the signs
Right.
purchased.
Okay, so $100 plus the cost sign. That's reasonable.
200 for boring, 500 for cut, plus signs, yeah.
Yeah, too.
I'll order some of these signs then. And right now, it just says buried utilities below. That's all it
I
says.
think that's sufficient. That's simple.
Yeah.
That should put a spark in someone's head, hey,
Yeah.
something here.
Yeah, we don't need it too complicated.
The only other thing I can see is maybe it says private buried utilities below. You'd rather say that? I'm just throwing it out there before I order them, so,
I'd keep the words as minimal and as big as possible.
okay.
Bigger
So buried
fonts.
Yeah,
utilities
vertical or
below,
horizontal? That 12 by 8.
it'd be up and down.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
That'd look better,
I like
catch
that
your eye
better.
more.
I like that better.
Okay. I'll order those.
We all good on that?
I'm good.
Okay, what's the next, Ben?
I think that's all I had for you. I think.
So I did talk to Mary Simcox about St. Joe and County Road 60,
Oh,
Okay.
and she's going to talk to her board at their next meeting, and then get back with us if we need to come out and talk to them or whatever, but it's going to be, shouldn't be any issues with giving them that section.
Okay, that'd be great. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a new nice road too, so
Great.
that'll last them a long time. It's
Yep.
already aerated.
Already aerated. A little fertilizer
No
in the holes.
issues.
Grows
Said
more
no
asphalt.
issues.
Okay, so she's gonna follow up with you, Mike?
Yeah, she'll follow up with me after her town board meeting.
yeah. Good. What else?
So we'll, once we hear more from her, then does Jim have to prepare something for us to give that to them?
I'm sure he'll
Okay.
have to write up something.
That was the County Road 60,
From one, to-
From State Road 1 to
To
the
abandon.
dead end.
goes back to Whitney Avenue.
From what to Whitney?
It's County Road 60 from State Road 1 to Whitney Avenue.
That would be one to there.
That's where our current jurisdiction is, yeah.
That was Mary Simcox.
What'd you say that was, Ben? Less than a mile, wasn't it? Or half
Yeah, it
mile?
ain't much at all.
1,700 feet.
Oh, it's quarter
Yeah.
mile, that's right. We talked about a quarter mile or so. Okay.
Yeah,
It just
got it.
makes sense. I mean, if we
It
can get rid
was,
of a
yeah,
quarter mile of
1,700 feet.
road,
Yeah.
we get rid of a quarter of a mile of road a week, we'll be, get this inventory down. We won't need any community crossing funds.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we will.
Anything else?
okay, so, are you doing anything with the horse-drawn buggy thing with
Yeah.
Ben here?
Yes.
And then the other thing I have is, unless I'm not understanding, is you have to appoint an RFP committee today
For the,
for
for the highway
Highway?
bot.
The dot.
according to this.
Mhm. I read that. I was a little confused after reading it, but
Somebody, I didn't prepare that. I don't know if he's gone. Tim Elwerding did it or whether Ryan Grog did it.
I think it came from Ryan Grog.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it did too.
I think we decided it was going to be the three of us and Ben
Yeah,
would be the committee.
I think that's what we decided, the commissioners and Ben, be the committee for that, so.
There's no definition of who has to be in it, so I see no problem with you doing just what you said.
Okay.
That'll work. Need a,
I'll
We
put
need a
that into
motion?
a motion.
Make it so, number one.
I
Got
will
it.
move that we, that the bot committee be comprised of the 3 commissioners and the highway superintendent.
Second,
hey,
Okay,
mo-
so are we calling this an RFP committee or a
Well, we'll call it the bot RFP committee.
Yeah.
Well,
it's Q.
And since
RFP,
I put the Q on it, yeah, I was gonna,
RFPQ committee.
Hey, we gotta be
be
inclusive.
careful what you ask for, huh?
Or we could make it like a really long name,
Okay,
have
so
an acronym.
I know I ask this all the time because this is so crazy. So do we have to do anything with Todd's original motion of the other design, bid, build thing? Or not yet?
We already rejected.
You have not rescinded it.
Oh, we rescinded
We
we
rejected.
rejected all bids
yeah.
and abandoned the CMA process.
So do I have to have something, well, I know we did, oh, okay.
We don't
That's separate.
have to withdraw the CMA motion because we rejected all the bids.
reject all the
So it
bids.
just went
I don't
away.
have to worry about that anymore.
No, that frees us from obligation of it by rejecting the bids.
Thank you.
Or the way I understand it, anyway.
Okay, we have a motion. Have a second? I'll second.
I seconded it.
Oh,
Yeah, Todd.
well, we got 2 seconds now.
There. I thirded
Any,
it.
any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries.
That's what you need, another committee position.
Yeah.
Okay, Susan, what you got next? Buggy?
Buggy.
Buggy,
Buggy.
buggy.
Let's go to the buggy.
A lot of stuff in there. That this morning.
Well, when the ordinance weighs as much as the vehicle, you probably have it about right. Right? The weight of the paperwork, that's what we say about airplanes.
Better shot.
When the weight of the paperwork equals the
Accepted.
weight of the plane, it's airworthy. So,
Any comments on the buggy ordinance? Ideas?
I think we've
I
gotten
think
there.
everything was there that we talked about.
Yeah.
The only thing, and I did talk to Jim about it on the phone over the weekend, was the penalty.
Right.
I thought that was excessive.
What was the penalty?
5,000?
Oh, 5,000.
I
5,000.
changed that as a result of last
Right,
week.
right.
Not
So
our conversation.
that's
I think double of what the registration would be a sufficient penalty.
500.
500.
It'd be 1,000, isn't the registration? No, the registration's 250.
250.
I think 500 would be fine. I think going 5,000 is.
We got a blank in there,
For
need
someone to
to, need
shoot.
to fill in, I think.
That's pretty
On the
puny,
latest
really,
That's,
really.
that's harsh.
Yeah.
I think double the registration would be a deterrent.
You had a 5,000 and 5,000 each day.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't do
no,
that.
no.
I think it's 500 and
You
they get
can't-
30 days to
Isn't that-
rectify or something.
Can't get to 5,000 doing
My copy
235.
didn't get here. When I look at yours.
I saw it.
I didn't see that penalty.
I think it was, well, but this one here is 500, and then, well.
Well, and I
3
don't
minutes
think
to look.
I don't think a daily, I think they should have a certain amount of time to rectify the
Yeah,
issue.
there wouldn't be a daily.
No, it'd be like 500 and you have 30 days to comply, and then maybe every 30 days they let it go hit them, but I don't think you can do a daily on that, on an
No.
infraction.
I had, annual license fee in the amount of $250, for the first horse-drawn vehicle, and then 50 for
50
each
for
one
each.
after that.
Yeah.
Has to be after March 1 and before May 15 each year, so there's a window in there for people, for them to get to it. Late fees $20. A late fee of $20 shall be imposed on any person registering for a horse-drawn vehicle and/or horse-drawn trailer.
How is there a late fee? What does that mean?
If it's
a late
after
fee?
May 15 of any year, because you got this window.
Okay, so we're just doing a year period, no matter when they come in, they're paying for a year? It's not prorated?
I had something prorating, partial year license fee reduction.
Okay,
An annual license fee set forth in this ordinance shall be reduced by 1/2 if paid after November 1.
then how can you have a late fee? In other words, if they say, well, I never used it until now, how's there a late fee to register? In other words, at the license branch, it's from the time you buy the car. If you buy the car and show up 30 days later, there's a late fee. If you have a buggy and you're not using it on the road, and then you show up and say, okay, it's time for me to use it on the road now.
And you get it in November.
Yeah, I don't know how you can charge a late fee per se, because there's no way to justify when they bought the buggy.
Well-
Or when they're using the buggy.
I'm assuming that with a late fee, they had to be doing it for that whole year that started somewhere between May 1.
Like if they already have one,
Yeah.
then the
For the
next
renewal.
year, when they renew,
Oh, okay, so for
Renewal.
already
the very
registers.
beginning ones, there would be
Yeah.
no way for us to do that.
Or they need to tell us they no longer have the buggy. And
Right.
rescind the registration, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, I was just curious how you did a late, okay. Once someone's on, if they don't renew in a timely manner, there's late fee, okay. I have no problem with that. Some good reading there, isn't there, Ben?
There's a bunch in there, yeah.
Give the Amish a heart
Well,
attack.
we have to do 3 readings on this
Yeah.
anyway,
It was-
since it's,
Right.
since there are penalties,
Penalties
so.
involved, yeah.
That's another conversation.
I haven't heard you guys gotten any feedback on this at all, from any of the
Of course,
Amish
I know
community?
unless they.
Very little. I've
I
had a
doubt they will.
couple of people say that the fee ought to be $1,000 or somebody who thought that 250 was, way too much, but.
Yeah.
But I think I've only had like 3 comments.
Really?
Yeah,
I haven't heard any on it.
yeah.
I had a guy from LaGrange County call me that said it should be substantial.
You
They
wanna
spend a lot of money up there repairing roads.
They do, I know they do,
A lot
yeah.
of money, yeah.
And we may have to look at that if our grows a lot in the.
Yeah, this can always be amended. Yeah. I think it
guess-
fits the current situation.
I guess my question is, since there've been a few questions about late fees and penalties and stuff, do you want to review this between now and next week and get back to me with anything that you need to talk about next week?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that.
let's do that.
I think so.
Get us a final draft on this
Yeah.
week, and
I'll take a look at it and then just let me know before the
Well, the one
weekend.
that, the final draft that I have, does not have anything about the $5,000.
No, I know that.
So,
It
I know,
doesn't have
but,
that, but there was discussion also about penalties and there's different fees in there.
I
saw-
know, but Bill just asked you to give him a final draft. You have nothing else to give until they
That's
give
final
them,
draft.
give you feedback,
Well,
correct?
yeah, but I'm gonna point out what I need feedback on.
Okay.
You want the resolution number?
I'll put it in.
this is the final?
That was going to be the final, but if you've had enough questions, I think we've gone this long, you ought to take another week to look at it and
Well-
make sure it's right.
And this one, under penalties, first offense fine is $250. I thought we just talked 500 first, double the,
It should be double what the,
yeah, you got 250 in here.
All right, penalty fee.
Yeah.
well, I thought the
500 for
penalty
sec-
should be 250 plus they owe us the 250, so a total of 500 is what I thought. You know what I'm saying? I don't think a $500 fine plus charging 250, I think just double the, you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
Yeah.
So the fine would be $250,
Yes.
plus they have to.
Plus they have to
plus they
register
get
it.
into compliance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plus they have to get in compliance, which would cost them another 250. I think that's how it should be.
yeah, I agree. That's what I thought we
Yeah.
said originally.
Yeah.
No, I gotta go through it and make sure.
Okay, so
9.
you want the number?
Yeah.
Read that and
That's
give me your
different
opinion
how that
on
reads.
that, Mike.
And then
And
the
Todd.
code is 9-2-2.
What's that?
Dash 2.
Is that how it
So
reads?
2022-R-13.
It kind of says, you read it, see what you think.
Yeah, it says for a first offense, the fine is $250. For the second and subsequent offenses, the fine is $500. So I agree with that.
But then obviously they
have
have
to-
to, they have to be in compliance, or they have to get in compliance.
Yes.
So you probably should add that to paragraph 9, that in addition to the penalty, they must register the vehicle and comply with the ordinance.
Yeah. Yeah, the verbiage needs to say fine will be $250 plus getting,
Registration.
plus your proper registration, yeah. Or however you want to word it, Mr. Lawyer.
Yeah, I think that's,
Put Guido, something about Guido in
you didn't
there.
want to read that whole thing today
Then I'd be
anyway, did you?
consigliere,
Consiglio?
consigliere
Yeah.
from The Godfather.
Yep. Call you Fredo or Frodo or whatever they call him. All right.
Okay.
So we'll review that and then act on it next week. Let's
Yeah,
this
get
thing
on that
done.
next week. Do
Good.
the first reading and go from there. If we can get somebody to read it.
I'm not reading it.
Susan's the
I
fastest
guess what that
reader.
means is I
I'll
should
read
write
it.
these things shorter.
Madam Secretary,
I'll read it.
we might have to bribe her.
She has a
lunch or
great
something.
voice.
Yes, that will be coming.
Okay.
Okay, what's next? Susan, what you got?
I believe I have nothing else for Ben. But our next, I do have a couple more things, but our next thing would be with Zach and the,
Okay,
yeah, I'll let him
Board of
explain
Health.
it.
okay, anything for Ben at this point?
I sent you guys an email, I think Saturday, the White County's road use agreement.
Yeah,
So I haven't really looked through that yet,
it's
but
27 pages. It's,
I know it. I know.
Yeah.
I got through about 4 so far.
And we had all the way from Saturday until today to get through it.
Well, Mike, I talked to him pretty extensively on the phone. It was pretty interesting how they do that, and it's been working well for them, so.
Well, they're really big into both windmills and solar up there,
Right.
so they've got a lot of experience
Right.
with this.
So I thought that was a good one to get our hands on and look
Yeah.
at, so. Yeah, everybody here should have that. If you need anything, let me know and I can get hold of Mike and,
Yeah,
Other
White,
information.
White and Randolph both are pretty big into
All righty.
solar and windmill.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
yep, thank you guys.
Y'all come back. Zach, what you got?
I'm here on behalf of the Board of Health. All we are planning a drive-through. And we've used this time Jason a little bit of extra protection for. So initially we were talking about identification. He would be okay with a clinic site. For you guys to have them named as an
That would just be a matter of getting a certificate of insurance from insurance trustees with Dayspring named as additional insured for whatever period of time they have an insurable interest.
Sure.
That makes sense. I'm surprised we didn't already have that in place, but yeah.
We have done that for other things. Zach sent me a courtesy copy. I'm fine with it.
Okay. I'm good with it.
Motion?
So you're motioning the health department to enter into this?
Well, to be named additional insured, yes. Yes, the Dayspring to be named additional insured. Yes, that's the motion.
And I will second that.
Any
pretty
motion
common
and a
practice.
Second? Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Anything else?
Zach?
The only other thing that you might care about is we need to approve, I need you guys to make a motion, if you agree, to appoint Ori Foster to replace Jeff Stevens on the Board of Health. He began July 25th and will end December 31st of
I will move that we make that appointment.
Second.
Hate to see Jeff go, but
Motion and a second on the floor. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you. Ori.
Have a good one, Zach.
thanks, Zach.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll let you know.
You just have to call Mike Sherritt and
Okay.
have him do a certificate of insurance, and they'll name Dayspring on the certificate.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
See ya.
Okay, the only other thing that I had, well, these actually I think are Jim's things. If we need to talk about humane shelter, or if we need to talk about this BP solar thing.
Did I send, I don't remember,
You sent them this on the shelter.
I'm good with the humane shelter, the BP thing I didn't dig into enough. I need to understand that more.
yeah, I need to dig into it more too, I
Yeah.
agree.
No, I didn't.
I read
I
it
didn't read
just
it all either.
cursory, just, okay, I don't understand, so
So on
I'll
the
reread it.
shelter
If it's
thing,
a-
is
if
this
it's
something
BP
that we
authored
approve first and then it goes to them, or do we have to wait for them to approve it?
We need to have both
That's what it is.
parties
I'm trying to
agree
figure out
on
what
how
they
much
really
it's gonna
want.
be. There's a blank there.
Okay.
for it.
Makes me nervous already.
So,
But
just need to
BP
think
is-
about how much it should be.
Oh, yeah.
It's stupid, they've ruined their business, sorry.
Okay, so on the shelter agreement,
Yes,
second page, C, county shall pay shelter the sum of blank for the term of this contract with payment for each calendar year, yada, yada, yada.
right.
So,
Well, if you notice, it dates back to January of '22, so we need to fill that in for this year, this year's
Oh.
amount, in my opinion, that we've
Yeah.
already given them, and then we just renegotiate every year,
Every year, yeah, it would be an annual, and whatever we
Yeah.
decide every year.
whether it's up or down,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
How much did we pay them?
I
50,000.
think 50.
Yeah. And, I mean, if you want to make that 45, or,
Yeah, whatever
Or
we
you
want,
want
we might go
whatever.
down, you never
We
know, it
talked
could
about
go up, could go down.
Equaling with Alliance Industries.
I want to talk to, yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm going to visit Alliance Industries too. Lita's offered to.
Yeah, okay,
So I
there you
want to
go.
get to
Yeah.
that, go visit them, see exactly what we're getting there. And
it's next Thursday.
the shelter's a desirable function, don't get me wrong. I just think we need to really look at, and again, this was the right step. This is pay for service instead of charity. There's a difference between the two. They are providing a service. As charity, we need to market as charity.
Right.
So with adding in what we are paying for this year, then you guys.
Are you gonna do it at 50 or do you wanna drop it?
Well, we're
Yeah, but
already in
this is-
50 this
We're
year.
already there for this year. This
Okay.
is
Yeah,
for this
is
year.
this year.
Yeah.
And then I will get another one of these. I can just make.
Well,
For
there's a
next-
thing in there that they can argue it rolls over, and if you wanna change the amount.
Well,
Well-
we'll work with them. This is a good group of people.
Yeah, but I don't know that that we want to enter into an automatically rolling over.
Oh, I agree with that.
Well, but either party has the right, I forget what the language is.
Okay,
I
how
would-
about y'all look at that and we'll deal
I
with
would
it next
rather
Monday.
that it expires at the end of the year and we
2 margaritas.
renew it as a fee for service. I mean, we do that with all of our other fee for service arrangements.
I'm gonna look and see exactly what it says.
I generally don't like auto rolling agreements on anything because I always forget about them and then it's like, hey, pay us.
Yeah. By the way, this is renewed
Uniforms are the
automatically.
worst. They want 5-year contracts and then, oh,
Cintas is-
you're better off to buy your own uniform.
So you want to revisit this next week,
That's fine, but
or you want to just put this into place for this year?
Yeah, that, we need to change Roman numeral 3, you'll see it does have an automatic rollover.
yeah.
We'll do it next week.
Change that, Jim, though, to,
Strike that.
just to be
that clause.
negotiated every year, renegotiated every year.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm good with it.
Okay,
Just a reminder, keep working on the capital improvement plan updates, and remember that it's a 2-year plan. And I can tell you that according to our financial advisor, they're estimating our 2023 receipts to be 1,647,000.
Okay.
1.6.
that's 2022, 23.
2023.
2020.
Right, so it's,
So I have went through, and I will do this, like, not in handwritten, and kind of fill in where I've changed, and where I have the amounts that you guys agreed to for 2023. But I think one thing that we probably need to put in for the special projects, unless you want a separate line, is the possibility of that County Road 56 project. You had taken it out of your plan, but since this is a 2-year plan that will be 23, 24, you might want to mention. The other thing is that, and I don't quite, this says the monies will be dispersed in 5 general areas, with the 6th area being an administrative fund that will be used in case of unfunded needs. There's 10, there's 10 points here, so I don't know if you guys are wanting to condense it back to the first 5 and the administrative fund, or what the idea was there. If we leave it more, then we need to change some verbiage.
Need to make the math work one way or another.
Right. So just a reminder, and I will always remind you. That's it. That's all I have.
You know I need a reminder.
So do I, so I get it.
what else?
That's all I have.
That's it? Jim?
Nothing?
Todd?
Question on this opioid settlement that the county's gonna get. Did I read those numbers correctly? Are we getting a substantial amount of money for this
It's,
Bayer Chemical, people that made the drugs and pushed them?
it's about, I think, around 700,000. But 500,000 of that is restricted, and 85% of that has to be used on very specific
Okay.
opioid-related
All right.
things.
I'm just wondering if we can fund parts of the health department this way. I mean, it's,
There's about 200,000, about, I think, 209,000. And this is going to be spread over some time, but about 200,000 of that is unrestricted funds that could go to health department funding.
thinking if we can find ways to save money, we're looking, I don't know, to offset the budget a little bit, just. Obviously, like Mike said, the restricted money would have to be used for whatever programs they want to see put in place, but.
Yeah, I just got an email from the Attorney General's office. There's a whole list of things that
Okay.
you can spend the money on.
Well, the health department, in my opinion, does such a good job with they seem to be fiscally responsible. They really seem to really care about the pennies. I'd like to help them out with this money if possible to
Yeah, I think
you know,
it'd be a good use for it.
be, it's in their wheelhouse. So, something to think about. Be a good discussion in the future about what to do with that money. So, okay.
Agree.
Mike? Anything else?
One thing I'd maybe like to see is, again, more awareness to families about these pills too that
Yeah.
are being manufactured that aren't real, that Mrs.,
Stuff.
I forgot her name, that her daughter unfortunately died of, that horrible. Anyway,
And that is a specified use of the restricted money
Yes.
is educational.
there needs to be big awareness. These kids don't realize they take a pill, they think it's a Xanax or an Ativan or a
Yeah, it's all-
Tylenol 3.
And it's all
And they
fentanyl.
suck down 10 milligrams of fentanyl that drops them dead.
You know, and What did I see?
Micrograms.
Or microgram, yeah.
Somebody just like slapped a piece of cloth
Oh, yeah.
that had fentanyl in it.
It'll kill you.
And that person just fell down and died,
It's,
not even ingesting it.
yeah.
It's serious stuff.
But anyway, it's something to talk about.
Yep,
Yeah,
Okay, that's all I had.
good topic.
all righty. If it's everything, then we are adjourned. Thank you
All
all.
Thank you.
Another day, another dollar,
Yep,
yes,
as they say.
as they say. Have a good one, everyone.
All
They
right.
say,
See you,
they
Mike.
say,
Take care.
same parts.
I hope you took that as a compliment that somebody loved you in the survey. I didn't. I wasn't trying to give you a hard time.
Oh, I didn't think you were.
Good.
I don't know.